Well, okay. The new regime is I get to start the meeting instead of having to look at somebody else who gives me the nod. So I'm giving you the nod right now that we are about to begin. This is welcome, by the way, to the City Council regular meeting for the City of Warrenville for October 7th, is it? Oh, my goodness. That is not all I have to say. I just have to call it up here on the machine. I don't know how it got switched. This meeting will be conducted in the traditional in-person format right here at City Hall. For convenience, the public may view the proceedings virtually on our official YouTube channel of the city, and you can check that out on our website and get the directions to find that. Public comment is available in here at the meeting, but will not be available virtually. So good evening. May I have a roll call, please?
Alderman Ashour, absent. Alderman Augustinovich.
Here.
Alderman Berry.
Here.
Alderman Davalos.
Here.
Alderman Kruckenberg.
Here.
Alderman Lockett.
Here.
Alderman Widener.
Here.
And Alderman Wilkie is also absent.
Very good. Thank you, Julie. Would you please rise as you are able and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we officially start the meeting, I have a proclamation this evening, one of the things that we enjoy very much at these meetings, and we have Jean Marie Koth here to receive this, representing the Environmental Advisory Commission. And the proclamation is for Children's Environmental Health Day, October 10th, 2024. Welcome, Jean Marie. Whereas the aim of Children's Environmental Health Day is to raise awareness about the importance of clean air and water, safe food and consumer products, healthy environments, and stable climates to children's health and development. And whereas CEH Day was created by the Children's Environmental Health Network and celebrated for the first time on October 13th, 2016, and whereas CEH Day is observed on the second Thursday in October as a means to celebrate progress of the children's environmental health movement and create a strong network of child health advocates. And whereas CEH Day is a national effort supported by individuals, nonprofit organizations, and governmental agencies, and whereas CEH Day encourages individuals and organizations to raise awareness and understanding of children's environmental health issues, seek improved protections for all children, and perform acts of sustainability on or environmental health wellness. And whereas together we can safeguard the health, safety, and well-being of our most precious resource, children. Now therefore be it resolved that I, David L. Brummel, Mayor of the City of Warrenville, County of DuPage, and the State of Illinois, do hereby proclaim Thursday, October 10th, 2024, as Children's Environmental Health Day in Warrenville, and urge all citizens to observe this day with awareness raising and environmental health and stewardship activities to create a healthier environment for children. I'm so glad you could join us, Jean
Thank
Marie.
you for all you do, Mayor.
You bet. Would you like to say a few words?
I would just like to thank the city for all that they have done over the years to help protect children's environmental health, including healthy lawns and the ban on coal tar sealants, as well as not spraying for mosquitoes. So thank you very much, Mayor.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
This is the part of our meeting. Every meeting we set aside a certain amount of time for citizens' comments. We have one person who signed up this evening, Mr. Bob Siebert. Bob?
Bob Siebert, Albright Court. Every Saturday, the Daily Herald, on their editorial page, the use a different newspaper. This Saturday, they quoted the editorial from the Wall Street Journal. This editorial was discussing the insurance premiums on Part D of Medicare. In their editorial, they stated that the Medicare group, the government, said that the premiums will be reduced by $7.45 per month, reducing it to $46.50. However, they also state that independent healthcare analysts projected that the premiums would increase by hundreds of dollars. So I looked at United Health. Last year, 2023, the policy I had was $24.30. This year, that policy is $46.10, 88% increase. 2025, what they sent out with all the information, or some of the information, it would be $81.10, another 76% increase. If we look at 2023 to 2025, it's a 233% increase on the premium. That $35 premium for 2025 would increase the annual premium by $420. United Health also has another plan that they show in the Medicare book that is sent to all individuals. In the back, it states the monthly premium is $42.20. However, with the $590 deductible, this plan becomes $91.17 per month, $10 more than their other plan that has increased by $35, which is the maximum amount that it can increase by the statute in any 1 year. So when I contacted United Health, they said, I asked for the deductible and the co-pay. They said, well, they didn't have it. I said, how can you have a plan without establishing the co-pay and the deductible? Well, they didn't have it. Call the salespeople, United Health. They said, no, we don't have it. I said, again, you have to have it. Well, no, and in your case, the $81 would be the cheapest. I said, I don't want what your cheapest plan is. I want the information where I can compare all of the plans with each other. And to do that, you need 3 items: the premium, the deductible, and the co-pay. The reason this is important is the fact that by adding those up, you can determine your out-of-pocket costs. 2023, $291 for the premium, $288 for the co-pay for 4 drugs every month, 12 months. That's $579. Of the $579 they received, they paid throughout the year for 4 prescriptions, $1.76. This year, same 4 prescriptions, but now the premium is $553, Copay is the same, it's $841. Still, they pay $1.76 out of all the money that individuals are paying in. And in 2025, we can't determine this because we don't have the copay or the price of the drugs. However, with the 8110 figure, we would be over $1,100 in the payment and the premium if they maintain their figures of $6.11 total cost on each drug. That would still be then they're giving for $1,100 $1.76 that they're paying. The concern that I have here is the fact that with the changes this year, with the co-pays, with the $2,000 maximum, which doesn't include the premium, but does include the co-pay, most individual seniors will not understand this. They will be confused thinking 4220 is less than 8110. So I'm suggesting that the city have on 3 Saturdays, since it's coming up now till December 6th, you can apply for this between the 15th of October and the 6th of December, that they have a 3-hour session where the individuals could come and receive particular information. And I know some of you will say, oh, on the back of the page here, it says call the state. They've got SHIP, that is the program to help individuals. So I tried that. I called the state. What did the state say? Oh, here, you have to call the county. So as usual, the state says, we're not doing anything. You call the county. Call the county. They have no, on their automatic system, nothing set up. So I took the closest thing that I could realize that would be for help for seniors. They said, it's the wrong number, we'll transfer you. I said, okay, transferred you. Oh, no, this is the wrong number. I said, they will transfer you. 3rd time. I said, that's fine, go ahead. Waited 5 minutes, all of a sudden I got a recording. We are unable to connect you to your party. Please hang up and try again. So I think it would be beneficial to get information out to the individuals that are seniors that don't understand this information. If you look at the book at the back where they describe it, you can't make a decision on the information that they've put here.
Thank you, Bob. Anyone else would like to make a comment tonight who didn't realize they had to sign up? Okay, we'll move on then to official and staff comments. I would just begin by reminding everyone what the southern states are going through at this time and what they have gone through through the first hurricane. There's another one approaching Florida as we speak. The destruction is almost beyond comprehension so far inland. A lot of folks are really hurting at this time, so I think it's appropriate that we think about them and send our best wishes there, and anything else we can send. If there are ways that you know that you can contribute, I'm sure they would be appreciated. That's all I have for this evening, Clerk. Okay, Alderman. Oh, Treasurer, he's not here. Okay, Alderman Widener.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention on tonight's agenda, we're going to review and file the minutes of the Tourism and Arts Commission, the Environmental Advisory Commission, and the Inclusion, Diversity, Equity, and Awareness Commission, as well as minutes from the Plan Commission and Zoning Board of Appeals. Those commissions and boards are all staffed by volunteers, and I just wanted to express my gratitude for all that they offer the city of Warrenville with their knowledge and leadership and involvement. And looking at what's going on down south, you see the importance of volunteers and the importance of volunteer commitment. So I just want to recognize the many volunteers that the city has benefiting our works, and hopefully if there's people out there that aren't involved, they would maybe consider thinking of ways where they can give back and help their community. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. You frequently thank our volunteers. I appreciate that very much, and I'm sure they do also. Anyone else? Okay, city administrator. City attorney, we're on a roll here. Alderman Widener, would you like to make a motion to approve the agenda for this evening?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I move to approve the agenda for the October 7th, 2024 City Council regular meeting.
Second.
Second, by Alderman Kruckenberg. Just give me some time, it'll come to me. I've only known him for 20 years. Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Very good. The minutes are approved from the past meetings. We need now a motion. Oh, the agenda, I'm sorry. I am a little ahead of myself. Now we have to do the minutes. Alderman Weiner.
I move to approve the minutes of the September 16th, 2024 City Council regular meeting, to approve the minutes of the September 16th, 2024 City Council closed session meeting, and to approve the minutes of the September 23rd, 2024 Public Safety and Finance Committee meeting.
Second.
Second by Alderman Kruckenberg. Any discussion of the minutes? Changes? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The minutes are approved as presented, as was the consent agenda.
Just the regular agenda, the full agenda, not the consent agenda.
Where am I at? This print is too small for me.
I just want to clarify that the prior motion was to approve the overall agenda, not the consent agenda.
Okay, so now we're going to do the consent agenda. Could I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
You want to read it?
You-
So you don't need it?
Oh, yeah. Where am I
You don't
tonight?
have to, but
Yeah, no, let's do it. I'll read it and then we'll go to the motion. That was,
I'll do it again.
okay. I'm not used to this tiny print here. Don't mind me if I take my glasses off. Consent agenda for this evening, 6A, accept Community Development Committee recommendation and pass ordinance 02024-40, approving clarifications and modifications to city code pertaining to code enforcement notifications. B, accept Public Safety and Finance Committee recommendation, waive second reading and pass ordinance 02024-41, authorizing the disposal of city-owned property maintained by the police department through an auction conducted by Obanoff Auction Services Incorporated. C, accept Public Safety and Finance Committee recommendation and pass resolution R2024-64, approving an agreement with Lauterbach and Amon LLC to provide audit services for 5 fiscal years, beginning with FY 2025 and concluding with FY 2029 audit. D, accept Public Safety and Finance Committee recommendation and approve the FY 2026 budget preparation and adoption timeline as presented, including a City Council budget workshop on Saturday, March 15th, 2025. E, accept Public Safety and Finance Committee recommendation and approve the calendar year 2025 city holiday schedule as presented. F, accept Public Safety and Finance Committee recommendation and approve the calendar year 2025 City Council and Committee of the Whole meeting schedule as presented. G, accept Public Safety and Finance Committee recommendation authorizing the elimination of mailed water and sewer billing late notices and direct staff to work with the city attorney to prepare an ordinance amending the appropriate section of the city code. H, receive and file minutes of the Tourism and Arts Commission meeting held on August 15th, 2024. I, receive and file minutes of the Environmental Advisory Commission meeting held on August 20th, 2024. I, receive and file minutes of the Inclusion, Diversity, Equity, and Awareness Commission meeting held on August 20th, 2024. K, receive and file minutes of the Plan Commission and Zoning Board of Appeals meeting held on August 22nd, 2024, and draft minutes of the meeting held on September 19th, 2024. L, receive and file report, oops. Where are we at? L, receive and file report of invoices paid up to October 2nd, 2024, in the amount of $224,622.43. M, authorize expenditures for invoices due on or before October 21st, 2024, in the amount of $2,121,687.27. And receive and file report of Chase commercial card expenditures for the month of September 2024 in the amount of $30,459.99. And O, receive and file wire transfers report for September 2024. And now we're ready for Alderman Wider.
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented by Mayor David Brummel.
Second.
Second by Alderman Davalos. May I have a motion, may I have a roll call, please?
Alderman Lockett.
Aye.
Alderman Wilkie. Absent, sorry. Alderman Davalos.
Aye.
Alderman Widener.
Aye.
Alderman Kruckenberg.
Aye.
Alderman Berry.
Aye.
And Alderman Augustinovich.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries. The consent agenda is approved as presented. We have a couple of items under the regular agenda. Would like to make the motion for item 7A. Alderman Lockett.
I'd like to make a motion to accept staff recommendation and approve a one-day waiver of the hours of operation restrictions set forth in section 3-2-14 of the city code to authorize Twin Peaks to sell alcohol under its Class A2 license starting at 8 a.m. on Sunday, October 13, 2024, with all other license conditions and restrictions to remain in full force and effect.
Second.
Second. Chief, do you have anything to explain exactly what this is about? Pardon me? Oh, I was going to Chief because he handles that stuff, but Finance Director Gulfstream.
I'll see if I can handle this. It's pretty straightforward. Twin Peaks requested to be able to sell alcohol on this coming Sunday morning, as the Bears will be playing a game in London, England, which will start at 8:30 Central Time. The current city code does not allow alcohol sales on Sundays before 11 a.m. And we thought this was a good opportunity for Twin Peaks to be open and show the game. And the request seems in line with what we would want to do as we encourage our businesses to perform at their best. So it's with that in mind that we're making a staff recommendation.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Yes, Alderman Widener.
I just wonder if any of the other liquor serving establishments are going to want to do this type of thing too. It seems like an event that they would open up for and that they may want to serve alcohol, but just not be aware of the provisions of their license and therefore not making the same request as Twin Peaks.
We don't know. We had not had any other requests from any of the other establishments in town. Twin Peaks was the only one that contacted us about that. In light of that, the next item on the agenda will help us address requests like this easier in the future.
How will enforce if certain alcohol serving businesses open up at 8 o'clock this coming Sunday? How will enforcement take place or not take place? I'm just curious whether there'll be any action.
Typically, most of our liquor establishments are businesses in town that we support, and anytime that we would commit any enforcement would be responsive if we had an issue there, and then we would address it then. We could have somebody swing by and check out the establishment, but really we don't proactively go after our businesses. We kind of just wait for, if an issue happens, then we'll be responsive to it and take further action based on the circumstances then.
Proactively, would there be any notice that we would want to give them, advising them that they would need to do what Twin Peaks is trying to do in order to stay above board and in good graces with the city? Or are we not interested, because, Twin Peaks took the unusual step of seeking permission to open up early and things like that, and I just wonder whether or not we should, either through some form of outreach, see if it's the intention of the other, alcohol-serving businesses, and whether they too may want to be granted authority rather than just, kind of letting it slide and hope that no issues arise.
Sure, I understand, and I think that the staff would probably have to get together because that would probably affect multiple departments within the city regarding that aspect, and we could discuss and maybe come up with a plan for that.
Or if item 7B passes shortly here, maybe the businesses just could get a notice that our ordinance has changed. And that would give them the idea that they could do it. That's
Okay.
very simple.
Sure. I just think there should be communication
Okay.
regarding that.
Yes, Alderman Berry. I'm sorry, you done, Alderman?
Yes, thank you.
Alderman Berry?
I don't know if several of the other establishments in town will be open before their normal time. I can understand Twin Peaks because they are really considered a sports bar. And that's why they are being proactive about this, because they know their customers will be there. I don't know if many of these other establishments really, where people will go to it because they're going to sit and watch sports. I don't know. And if they will even open early, because some of them just won't, because it's not part of their regular routine to do that kind of thing.
Okay. Alderman Widener?
I am aware that there's a bar at 59 and Batavia Road that's under new ownership, and I just think that, and the previous owner, I think, catered to sports events, and they had big screen TVs and things like that. I just think that they would be a potential business that would see the opportunity to open early and maybe start selling alcohol, and it would be nice to have them follow the same pattern of seeking permission that Twin Peaks is doing. Thank
To
you.
the administrator?
Thank you. So item 7A is specific to Twin Peaks. Item 7B would create a process by which we could administratively approve that type of request. The specific event that precipitated this request from Twin Peaks is the Bears game that's happening in London on Sunday morning. There's not a whole lot of time for us to do a tailored communication approach to all the businesses, but we can publish something on the city's social media and allow them to make that request if item 7B is approved. City Attorney Lenneman looks like she has a comment.
City Attorney?
They'd still have.
Well, the concern is 7B, the item on 7B is to authorize the city attorney to draft an ordinance that would come back at a later date to put that in place. So the concern now is that there's not really time for the same kind of approval to take place between now and the Bears game by the city council, because currently the code doesn't authorize staff to make that kind of waiver administratively. So the idea would be that for future events, we would have this ordinance in place to allow an administrative procedure to make this 3-hour adjustment. The issue now is that this is the only council meeting before the Bears game.
Alderman Lockett?
So would we be prohibited from changing the motion then to authorize anyone interested or anyone with a current Class A2 license that is interested in serving alcohol at 8 a.m.? Or am I complicating this?
Well, the issue is that it wasn't on the agenda. So that you would be taking final action on something that wasn't noticed.
Okay. Any other discussion on 7A? Do we need a roll call for that, or can we do a voice vote?
I would do a roll call.
Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Widener?
Aye.
Alderman Lockett?
Aye.
Alderman Berry?
Aye.
Alderman Davalos?
Aye.
Alderman Augustinovich?
Aye.
And Alderman Kruckenberg.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries. And I see in the front row, we have one person in a Bears jersey and one in a Packers jersey. I hope that's not going to be a problem. Okay, they seem to be friends. Good, good to know. All right, motion for 7B, please. Alderman Lockett.
I'd like to make a motion to accept staff recommendation and direct the city attorney to draft an ordinance amending the city code to authorize the liquor commissioner to extend for periods not to exceed 3 hours the hours of operation during which alcohol may be sold or consumed on a licensed premises.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion of this motion? Okay, seeing none, roll call again, please.
Alderman Augustinovich.
Aye.
Alderman Krokenberg.
Aye.
Alderman Lockett.
Aye.
Alderman Widener.
Aye.
Alderman Davalos.
Aye.
And Alderman Berry.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries. We're done with that. We do have item 7C, which is a discussion of the 2024 Strategic Plan Action Objectives. And I turn that over to our city administrator.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening. So on the dais in front of you is a copy of the framework that was approved back in July, as well as a list of the action items in printed larger format. Since the adoption of the strategic plan, staff has worked to identify action items based on community and council feedback that we believe are aligned with the key focus areas and strategic priorities identified. The action items are intended to focus city resources effectively for those priorities, in addition to the core level of service that we generally provide. You might notice that with the action items, the fiscal year 25, 26, and 27 years have a lot of action items. The fiscal years 28, 29, and 30 trail off a bit. That is because it gets a little bit more difficult to plan that far in advance. Some of the action items in the earlier fiscal years will inform additional action items in the later years. And we will continue to have planning efforts during budget processes and work plan discussions. The goal of all of this planning is to ensure staff, the volunteers, elected officials, and the public are all informed about what the city is prioritizing during this 5-year strategic plan. As is typical with staff, we are optimistic in what we can accomplish each year, but adjust as needed with new priorities and sometimes unknown or unforeseen challenges that may come up. The request for all of you this evening is to provide feedback on the action items. This is not a final proposal or review of the strategic plan action objectives. It is a discussion and feedback item. Especially for the fiscal year 26 priorities, as that will inform the planning and work plan efforts that will be starting here very soon for the upcoming budget process. If changes are proposed, please provide consensus direction to staff so that we can amend the action items and adjust as needed for a final draft to be presented at an upcoming meeting. The action items will then form the annual work plans and budgets for each of the fiscal years proposed. We do have all the members of senior staff here this evening to respond to questions if there's any item specifically that require some additional discussion. So with that, I'll turn that over.
Okay. Alderman Lockett.
First off, thank you guys, all of you, and everybody that put this together. This is incredible. This makes this so much easier to look at, and I love the numbers. I was a little disappointed. I thought that the finance department was going to get 28, 29, and 30 off, Kevin, but it looks like you're not, so they're going to find stuff for you to do. But I did have a question for Chief, and then a question for Amy. I guess for Chief, and you and I, we've discussed this a little bit, the implementing the reverse 911 stuff that you're looking to do, which is awesome. I know you and I, we had kind of discussed maybe trying to find something that maybe has a safety profile. I think that's the correct term. But you and I, we discussed about being able to voluntarily register any type of information that could be useful to any first responders that were being dispatched to a home. And kind of the example I had given Chief was that a lady had a daughter who hurt herself, and it was trauma situation. The mom was just screaming, right, hysterical. But they had this program set up, And the first responders were able to see that they voluntarily put in there that she was allergic to latex. So when they showed up on site, they already knew, they had the information, the mother had forgotten to tell them, but it could be something as far as medications or anything else, or any kind of, autism, nonverbal, different things, so that everybody kind of had a snapshot of what they were walking into. So I guess I was just asking, I'm sure there's a lot of different programs and everything out there for it, but if we could just look at seeing if the safety profile is something that we could try to implement with that, and if that'll work with our ERP and whatever you're planning.
So after we discussed that, I looked into it, and we have an in-house system called Frontline where we document certain addresses that have certain information that we need to know about ahead of time, whether it's somebody with prior medical issues, somebody with a disability, somebody with, or a dangerous suspect that may be there. We have different tabs within that officers could go in and see the address, but we have to tie that into like our dispatch center where they could see it when they're dispatching somebody. So that's something that we probably still need to work on moving forward on that. But we do have an in-house system that officers could look at and are made aware of.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And then for Amy, just a quick question on the grant, research and consider adoption of commercial facade and/or interior build-out improvement grant program. Just a little bit of info on what that would be like, or if that's what you're developing now and more will come.
So the item is referring to us researching that. I don't have a program that's drafted at this point. What I can tell you is we've looked at some of our comparable communities, and as we're having conversations with businesses that are looking to locate here in Warrenville, some of them mention some programs that exist in other areas, and I want to make sure we're competitive with those communities. And these are two areas where we see opportunity to understand what's out there and evaluate what's right for us.
Awesome. All right. Again, thank you all. This is fantastic. Thank you.
Going back just a minute to your first question, we have Smart 911 that people can sign up for, which is a way to get that type of information to the responders right away. It's easy enough. You can go on the internet and sign up and put in your medical, everything that you would consider to be important for someone to know when they come to your house, whether you have pets. All of these things you can input, and it's an up and going system, and it works very, very well. So I would recommend that to everyone in the community, that you sign up for Smart 911. Then as soon as you call, they know who you are and everything about you that you think is important for them to know.
Thank
And
you.
it's all very confidential, obviously. Yep.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay, anyone else? Alderman Davalos.
Thank you, Mayor. I just need to know, is this list in order of priority for staff? What is the criteria for being number one on the first page or the second page? Is there anything to know about how this is organized?
Let's let Christina go for this one.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
At this time, they're not prioritized. That will happen when we develop the work plans for that particular fiscal year. We will divide them up into tier 1, 2, and 3 as we have in the past.
Okay. My second question would go to the chief about what Alderman Lockett brought up about reverse 911. I would love to see that go to the top. I think just my experience of getting questions from the community, I know that the police and the staff put out information to the aldermen and other elected officials and other staff about important things that people may see and have questions about and contact any one of us, and that does happen. I think we're just in anxiety-producing times, and it's just sort of different than it used to be about how people feel about the city, about protection, about all kinds of things. And so I think to have a system, and I know that my kids have lived in communities with this, and my daughter lived up in the mountains of Colorado, and they had to have reverse 911 just when there was strange people around or the moose were out there and there was a bear that was on the loose or something. So I'm not expecting that in Warrenville, but I do think if there was a way that we could easily contact people with important information they need to know about anything that would affect how they're dealing with their daily life, or, if we ever got another pandemic where vaccines are available. I mean, there's just all kinds of things. And I would love to see it go up to the top, because I think we could use it next week, to be honest. So that's one thing. Let's input on that.
Okay. Anyone else? Alderman Widener.
Yeah, I see on fiscal year 25, there's an isolated item regarding the speed limit on River Road, and it has to do with, the healthy neighborhoods and providing a safe community. And I've talked with other aldermen, and I think to just pick that one street without evaluating other areas of Warrenville would lead to an inefficiency and a potential lack of consistency. And I just think that we should consider looking at all the roads and streets and evaluating them for their purpose. And I guess it goes beyond just being a speed limit too, because in our strategic plan, we're talking about that unique hometown feel that we want to establish. So with new commercial areas and residential areas and things like that, we might want to discuss holistically, like looking at all of Warrenville on the streets and roadways, what we might want to set up and what we might want to do in order to have the atmosphere that we want to provide for our citizens. And I think if we bundled it together, there'd be an efficiency in whatever consultant we hired and whatever we did moving forward. So I just think that the consideration of bundling that as a larger project might be worthwhile and save us some money. Thank you.
Okay, I would just add that this evaluation is because that River Road section will be coming under our jurisdiction. That's a new road under our jurisdiction that we haven't done before. So staff is trying to make sure we evaluate what it should be. Your point is well taken, but this particular item was because of that. Christina, do you have something to add?
I would just add for some direction, if that's the case. I believe we had an item, I'm trying to find it now, it was either fiscal year 26 or 27 to do a more comprehensive traffic study. Bill, is it 27? Okay, so if that's the case, that we want to incorporate River Road and do it all holistically, then I would suggest we potentially leave it at the current speed limit once we take it over until that more holistic study can be done of the entire roads, because I don't think we have the capacity this current fiscal year or the budget to do that.
Okay, you're suggesting then pulling that item?
So yes, we would make River Road then part of the full-on comprehensive traffic study that I believe is currently under a fiscal year 27 item. Thank you.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
coming up.
we have a traffic study to evaluate speed limits and standardized speed limits on city streets in fiscal year 27.
Sure.
I guess waiting until fiscal year 27 is not, I guess, in my mind's eye, what we would want to do. I think it would be something that we could pay attention to that would help us, fulfill our vision and maybe, move that into a sooner fiscal year or something like that. I don't know how that would impact staff, and I know if you pull one, you got to move another one. But I would just ask that they take that under careful consideration.
Okay, so yes, we would, if we wanted to put it into fiscal year 26, we'd have to look at what other potential items would have to be moved out of 26 into future years. And it may not be just exactly a one-for-one. I know we talk about that a lot with the work plan, depending on resource allocation and staff time, we may have to look at how to readjust that, but we'll take that note and look at it as a staff.
Okay.
I guess my last comment is that I agree with reducing the speed limit, and I think that would lead to safety, but I think if we did it, it should be on a very temporary basis until we can look at all the whole picture of Warrenville and all the roads and streets and match them up to what our vision might be for completing the vibe or the character that we want to establish for our residents.
Okay, thank you. Alderman Lockett?
Yeah, I agree with Alderman Widener on a lot of it. The River Road, though, I know is, I mean, is it possible to keep that on this agenda and then potentially move the 20 and have discussion about moving up the overall from 27 to 26? I just don't think, I think with River Road and us taking it over and that being such, at least a hot button for the residents that I speak to with the school and the park and everything that's going on over there, I just don't want to push that. But I agree that there are other roads that we should maybe evaluate, discuss. So I just think it would be wise for us if we kept River Road and then tried to accelerate the overall from 27 to 26 if we could. Thank you.
Okay. We probably should have a motion. I think if we're going to make a change in what's here, I think what you're suggesting is that we keep the speed limit the same until we have a chance to look at it. And the chance to look at it would come with a more comprehensive look that you want done sooner than is in the plan now.
I think he's saying fiscal year 25 for River Road, yes. Let me just, can I clarify?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, so I think what I'm hearing is keep the River Road item independent so that we can look at it in fiscal year 25 when we take ownership of the road, but move up the citywide traffic study to fiscal year 26 if possible and feasible. Yes. Okay, and I just would like, we don't need a motion, I don't think, but just consensus.
Is there consensus? Show of hands. Okay, we're in. Very good. Anybody else with something? Alderman Davalos.
Thank you. This is a 26 priority. It's the one about communicating with residents about local environmental programs, and then it goes through the whole thing, solar and coal tar and plastics and weeding and all the whole things that we're doing. And I like this because it's the first, I mean, I really am thankful that it's here. It's the first sort of consensus of everything together and what to do with this really important information in a citywide fashion, along with the EAC, which is the Environmental Advisory Commission. We are doing every couple of months programs at the library at night, and they are becoming more and more well attended. And we're just figuring out how interested people are in the environment and trying to have specific things that they can do. And even though it doesn't have to be an ordinance or something, just what can I do at my house and my life that would help the environment? And what's all the new, it's kind of like what we voted on today by the Children's Health proclamation that was read today. We get a lot of information asking about kids and what's going on. So my point is, I think it's a very timely topic. I'm glad it's on this year's agenda. My suggestion would be that you work with the whole EAC, which are, some of them are even national experts on this stuff. So to figure out how to do that, and the mandate for the EAC is education and giving out information. That's their biggest one. So I'm glad to see it. Thank you. And yeah, I didn't expect to see it for this year. So that's awesome.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? All right, we have some clear direction for staff, and I think everyone's ready to move on. Moving on means, oh my goodness, no unfinished business, no new business, no closed session. We just need one last motion. Alderman Lockett.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you for your attention and attendance this evening, and thank you to staff, as always, for providing us the information we need to make informed decisions. Very much appreciated. And, whoa, hold on. A reason to celebrate. Make eye contact. You know who I'm talking about. Happy birthday, Phil. All right, now we can adjourn. Ay, ay, ay.